Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and I wanted to talk a little bit about NTE and just kind of give my first impressions. Now, this is an early impression of the game. It's more about the vibes and the positives about the game in general. Editing pixel here as well. There is going to be negatives in this video. This isn't a glaze video. We've got some negatives. We've got some positives. I just want to talk about it. Wanted to add that in because I'm stupid. Anyway, back to the video. Rather than going into specifics of endgame and the more nuanced aspects of the game, which will come later as we experience more of that. But this is more of just a vibe check that I wanted to do with you guys, because this was a game for me that really wasn't interesting me too much what we first saw of it. And then as we saw more, I started to actually get a little bit more interested, and actually, prior to release, was kind of excited. So, where am I now? I'm still kind of in the same position. This is a game that I think has got a lot of positives, a lot of potential, a lot of jank, and I think you need to try it out to see whether you like it. But let me give you my opinions on some of the positives, some of the negatives, and then I just want to kind of focus on a couple of things that I think are really cool about the game, and I like, and I really want to see more of. So, all right, let's just start. Let's get into it straight off the bat. Let's talk about the thing that a lot of people care about in these games, because I guess it's important, and that's the gacha system. It's pretty freaking good in this game. No 50-50. You're guaranteed at 90, I believe it is. And the best thing about it, it's not even really that, although the 50-50 is great. It's the fact that with dupes in this game, you can just toggle them on and off and choose which one you want. So let's say you've got a character and then you get another copy. You can just choose whether you get, like, basically the first dupe or the last dupe ability. It doesn't really work like that. You just basically, as you get more copies, you've got more skills that you can choose, and you can move them around, and it's just really good. I'd love to see more games do that. Actually, massive shift in that regard. Another thing as well regarding monetization is skins can be acquired, or I think at least some of them can be acquired with in-game currency as well, which is crazy. And there's one skin that it looks like you can get in-game as well, and that's Daffodil skin. And trust me, check it out. You'll understand exactly what I mean. Probably the only skin that I might ever buy just for pure goon reasons. You need to see Daffodil. I'll probably show you a clip in a minute and you'll be like, holy cow. But let's get into some of the positives around the game itself as well then. So, the music, it's good. It's pretty good. It's not the best music I've heard in a gacha game, but it's pretty freaking good. It fits the setting. It's nice to listen to some of the music while you're driving around, and some of the ambient music and all that sort of stuff. Big W. The visuals, they're beautiful actually. It's vibrant, colourful. It's pleasing to the eye. The environments have got a really nice design. The map itself's really cool. The city is a beautiful place to exist in. It's just pleasant. It's really nice. It's not the best looking game. It's not as good looking as Wuthering Waves or Enfield, but it's definitely up there. It's got its own style, if you will. It's definitely got its own aesthetic, and I'm a big fan of it actually. Very much a huge W in terms of the visuals and the environmental design as well. In regards to the actual characters themselves, they look fine, right? Daffodil, amazing, and some of them are caked up beyond belief, but in terms of actual quality of their design, they're all right. I've not seen anything yet apart from Daffodil that's blown me away, and that's mainly because she's got a huge butt and I'm here for it. And her animations are insane as well, which I'll go into in a bit, but there's nothing really spectacular, and the models themselves are all right. They're not as good as Wuthering Waves, and they're not as good as Enfield. Not to be that guy that keeps comparing them, but I'm just giving you sort of a baseline comparison. I still think at the moment for me, Enfield has the best character models in terms of fidelity, and Wuthering Waves and Zenith are a real close second. This is a little bit below them personally, but by no means bad. Yeah, so the world itself as well, going back to the world, feels fresh in this space, because we're typically in the open world space. We're getting the fantasy setting. Now with Enfield, we've got a bit more of the sci-fi setting. This urban setting, I'm kind of liking it. In terms of performance, personally, it's ran fine. I've got a 13900K to 4090, so it's a bit more on the high end. It runs fine. Stable FPS, apart from one major insane dip where the game literally crashed to a halt, where it was like doing 1 frame a second for about 3 seconds, and the utilization of the GPU went to like 1%. Don't know what happened there, but literally never happened again, so I can deal with those sort of things. But for me personally, I know a lot of people have been talking about performance. It's been really good for me, and the GPU utilization in general is pretty good as well, so the game's running fine for me. I have had a specific issue that's been unique to me, but that's a streaming issue where I was getting tearing on the stream, and I was fiddling around. It was either I'd get tearing for me in the game while I'm playing, or on stream. I figured out, I managed to sort it all out afterwards, but that was specifically to me, just a little bit unique to this game compared to other games. But that's not the game's fault. It's a streamer issue, so it's not something you're going to run into if you're just playing the game, at least anyway. But just thought I'd mention that. Early boss fights as well are enjoyable. It seems like we've got some interesting interesting mechanics that are applying to the game in some of the early fights. Even against Hethereau, I think it is, the little dog bear TV thing. You get shrunk down at the start of the game and you kind of fight him, and it's kind of an introduction to some of the cool set pieces that this game delivers, which I'm going to go into in a moment, because there was another one that I just randomly found in the map, which was really cool. Implementation wasn't perfect. The idea was amazing, and when I first got into it, it was like, wow, okay, this is cool. I want to see more of that. We'll speak about that in a moment, though. The combat, it's enjoyable. It's nothing special. I've got to be honest. It's nothing special, but it's like, it's weird. You get Daffodil, and it's so much better. Like, she is actually really, really fun. Like, her animations are great. Her kit feels good. She's got loads of impact. She's fast-paced. She almost feels like a Wuthering Waves character, and that's high praise, really. But everybody else at the minute, at least, it's not bad. It's just not amazing. But it's more than serviceable, I think. I think as more characters come out, I think that will improve. Because, like I say, it's like kind of night and day. As soon as Daffodil comes into your team, I don't even know about the meta, just in terms of feel. She feels amazing. It's like night and day. She just like kind of clears everything else, and she seriously has got some insane animations. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with characters as the game goes forward, to see if that improves. But as a baseline, I think it's all right. It's nothing to set the world alight. I still think Enfield and Wuthering Waves and Zenless is better, but I think it's okay personally. So yeah, that is something that I'd like to see some improvements. But I wouldn't say it's a negative. It's just kind of there. But Daffodil, really, really, really good. And as I said, the only gacha character where I've seen a skin, I'm like, if I can't get that in game soon, I'm swiping, even though I can get it in game, because goon levels are insane. Let's talk about the protagonist. Typical gacha slop. She's lost her memory. Yeah, she looks okay. Her face looks a bit off. Voiced well, and she speaks a lot as well, which is a real positive, actually. I'm really happy about that. It's one of my main gripes with Enfield, if I'm honest. I want the MC to talk more, so I'm really happy to see we've got a vocal MC here. But yeah, it's the typical gacha thing. I lost my memory. What am I doing here? What's going on? You know the drill. And it's here again. So yeah, if you hate that, you're gonna hate that again, right? Regarding the world again, there's lots of fun activities to do. You've got things like Crazy Taxi, fishing, a bunch of other stuff to do as well. I do want to say these activities are a real positive, but I've got to say, I am super disappointed with the fishing. Like, probably more so than the driving, because the driving needs a lot of work, right? Which we'll talk about in a second. But the fishing, like, because I kind of saw the situation with the driving. You saw gameplay, I was like, okay, yeah, all right, we'll see what's happening there. Needs work, right? But the fishing, I was kind of excited about. I like fishing in these games. It's kind of trash, and it sucks. It's got some cool systems in terms of that you can go around different spots, and you got baits and fishing rods and all this sort of stuff, and I like that, and you got a little market to sell the fish and everything, and levels to level up. Like that, little bit of something there to it. Oh, it feels like it's so flat. Like, I'd rather them have it so you was fighting against the line. They kind of have tried to do that, where it bites, you initiate the mini game, if you will, and basically what happens is there's like a bar at the top of the screen, and that moves left and right, and you just have to follow it. But obviously, I know there's no feedback on a mouse and keyboard, but it doesn't feel like there's anything there. And I think if you was actually fighting the line, that'd feel a bit better. Maybe it'll get better you get further in. But yeah, I was really disappointed with the fishing. I know that seems like a silly thing to focus on, right? But it sucks, and it's a shame, because it could be so much better. So I hope they rework the fishing. I'd say to the devs, rework the fishing. And now let's talk about reworking something else. I think the driving needs work. I do think the driving needs work. It's not terrible, but it's not spectacular for me. And they do want you to be driving a lot. One thing I will say, it's flawless and seamless switching from mouse and keyboard to a pad. As somebody who plays on mouse and keyboard, I don't like driving in games on mouse and keyboard, so to be able to just quickly pick up the pad when you're in the car, seamless, no issues. That's really good, but the cars need a little bit of work. They do feel a little bit stiff. The turning feels a bit heavy and seems to have this weird curve in terms of, I don't know how to describe it, but it definitely needs a bit of work. There's not much sense of speed, at least with the cars I've drove. Now, obviously, I know there's faster cars, but I still think that needs a little work. Now, I'm not expecting Gran Turismo or Forza levels of stuff, but hopefully, it's a live service game. Those are things that can get tweaked, right? We can see some improvements as well. The story so far, it's just been typical gacha story stuff. It's not bad, but it hasn't really engaged me massively. But it comes with a massive caveat, and that is kind of don't mind, because somebody said in my chat, and this resonated with me, that was like, it feels like Saturday morning cartoons in the day, and I agree, and I really like that. It's weird, like the story itself, the overarching story hasn't gripped me yet, and maybe it will later on, but I really like this like Saturday morning cartoon feel, like with this ragtag group of odd bits in this paranormal investigation team that kind of, it feels like you're going out and solving the episode's problem, you know, the problem of the day kind of thing, and sometimes some of the moments between them, it's like, this kind of feels whimsical and nice. That being said, none of the characters yet have really interested me. There's nobody that I'm like, okay, that character stands out. I don't really hate any of the characters yet at the moment. They're all just kind of there. But I must admit, like, you know, the three kids, I forgot the names, Sakiri, Edgar, and Nanali. I don't usually like those sort of characters in these games, but I don't know, there's something kind of just cute about those three together, but they're not spectacular. I just don't hate them, really. I kind of like Tagado. And yeah, overall, there's nothing that really stands out in terms of the characters, but at least I don't really hate the cast, so I suppose that's a positive, but I'd like to see some characters really work on pulling me in. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is. It just maybe get some improvements there. Some of the lip syncing stuff feels a bit off sometimes, and some of the animations in the specific dialogue stuff feels a bit stiff, but the cutscenes, wow, the cutscenes are really good. They've really knocked it out the park with the cutscenes. Some of them, they genuinely feel like you're just watching an anime. Like they've got the Zenless Zone Zero feel to them, but then like they add in all the animated 2D stuff as well with all the, it's just really cool. It's really cool. I really like that. But in terms of characters, yeah, there's nothing spectacular, but I do like the setup and the premise of your little team. Right now, in terms of the gameplay loop, I can't go into that too much. I'm at the early part of the game, but it looks just like you're gonna get the normal gacha stuff in terms of leveling up characters, gear, all that sort of stuff. There is RNG gear here, but it's not quite the same of where you're just gonna be fishing for random stats. You're gonna get your gear, as far as I'm aware, and then you see the stats. So before you start investing into that particular item, you know whether it's worth it. So it still requires you to get the good stuff, but at least you don't have to waste time building that just to find out it's trash later. So that's a positive. You know, like Echoes in Wuthering Waves or something like that, which I hate that. So it's better. It's not quite Enfield or, you know, no RNG in your gear. But yeah, I think it's a better system than something like Wiwa's Echoes, which for me are just horrible. Star Rail and Wiwa for me, banes of my existence. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see in regards to the repeatable content, the end game, all that sort of stuff. That's stuff that will come with time, right? But I wanted to go back. What I said earlier, there was a specific moment in the game that I was just like, wow, that's actually really cool. So you can find like these anomalies around the map and stuff and engage in fights with some of them and all this sort of stuff, right? And you can capture the anomaly in a sense, and then it ends up back at your apartment that you buy. You can activate it for certain buffs, things like repairing your car and all this sort of stuff. There's different ones, right? But this one, I couldn't find it at first. I ended up in this alley, and I was like, alleyway, and I was like, where is he? He keeps letting me know there's something here. And then I saw there was a TV, and when you went up to this one TV on this shelf of TVs in this alley, you ended up getting like sucked into the TV, and it was kind of like this game of like ticking. Or, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, I don't know if you've seen the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. They only move when you're not looking at them. It's kind of like that. You've got like these spirits that they don't move, but the second you turn away from them, they start coming towards you. You can hear the footsteps, and then you turn around and they stop. And it's like, at first it was like, oh, whoa, this is kind of cool. It took me a while to get through it because you had to find some keys and then get out. And obviously, if they get to you, it restarts you back at the start again. But that was really well done. It could have been implemented maybe a little bit better and maybe had some sort of a soft puzzle solving rather than just finding the keys. At least, I don't know if we'll get more of that. But I liked it. And I was like, oh, this is actually some thinking outside of the box in terms of the content. It's not just go beat this thing up and you're done, or go farm something. It was like, it was a little sub-game within the game, and it had this, they definitely were like leaning into like the sort of horror stuff. It's not horror, but I do like that about it. Some of the early missions as well, what they're doing with like the paranormal stuff, actually kind of cool. It has a really good vibe to it. I'll say this about this game. And of course, I know vibes can't carry a game. That is true. It's a fact. It's true. But this game has a lot of vibes, and a lot of good vibes as well. It's just, we'll have to see if the game holds up to the vibes. Because early on, I kind of like it. I must admit, there's like a lot of stuff in this game where I'm like, it makes me think that I probably wouldn't like it. It's jank. The driving's not great. The combat's all right. There's nothing really standing out in the story or characters you share. But altogether, it just kind of feels nice, if that makes sense. Like, I've got Ark Knights, I've got Limbus, and I've got Enfield at the moment. They're my 3 games that I'm absorbed in, that I want to play lots of, and I want to really get sucked into. This is going to be the game, I think, at the moment, where I come to just chill out, just vibe, just bop around the city, doing my thing, you know what I mean? Getting my businesses set up and enjoying this kind of light-hearted, pop, urban environment that's got a cool premise and this little cool, wacky cast of Saturday morning cartoon characters. And I like that. I like it. Like, if I didn't have those games, I wouldn't see it as my main game. But I think it probably is going to get added into my rotation, and hopefully the story gets better and they keep making things better and better, right? But I think the game, it's weird. It's like, in my head, I think of all these different things. I'm like, these seem like negatives. Then I just put it together. And throughout my stream today, I've just had fun. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, right? Now, that doesn't mean you're going to. A lot of vibes here. A lot of vibes here, right? This is why I kind of wanted to make this video now. Because as we get further into the game, we'll probably start talking about systems and all that sort of stuff and whether the game fails. Because that's a different thing altogether. I'm just talking about that first impression vibe at the moment. And at the minute, it's kind of positive. It's kind of positive. End of the day, when it comes to these gacha games, right, just try it out. If you don't like it, you've wasted maybe an hour or 2 of your time, right? That's the worst thing that can happen if you've got a few hours to spare. Download the game, check it out. You might hate it and uninstall it. I've already had people in my Discord server who are like, yo, I'm out. The game's not for me. And that's totally fine. And it's not going to be for a lot of people. And there's objective reasons as well, I think there. Of course, there's subjective reasons as well. But yeah, I think I kind of like it, actually. So, yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys know about this. I will probably make a video later on when we've got a little bit more concrete, nuanced arguments we can make about the game itself as a video game. But in terms of just a fun little enjoyable experience, I've kind of been enjoying it. Like, the dialogue sometimes, not great. The characters are all right. The combat, it's all right. The driving, it's not spectacular. But then you put it all together and I'm like, okay, I'm having fun. So, yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think down below. What's your initial experience of the game been? And, yeah, I'd love to know, but I've been having fun. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out your hair. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all in the next one. Ta-ra.